Welcome back to Shedding Starlight. This is a podcast where we discuss Kingdom Hearts in order, title by title, without spoiling what's beyond our current season. At the same time, our goal is to guide new players through Kingdom Hearts' circuitous story. Balance is the key. For example, today, we're returning to Roxas, exploring his mysterious connection to Kingdom Hearts 2's secret ending, through the lens of 358 over 2 days. Let's see if this game gives us any more clues to who and what Roxas is exactly.
We've talked a lot about how Roxas was born, but we have to discuss how, during Roxas's first few days alive, he was lethargic and unresponsive.
Don't you remember? I acted like a zombie.
Right, that first week you could barely form a sentence.
Axel writes in the secret reports that it took Roxas 2 weeks before he started to, quote, talk like a normal person. Roxas acted like a zombie because he didn't have any memories prior. Usually, superior nobodies remember their past life and therefore are much more capable and lively when they're reborn as a nobody. Roxas learned not only how to communicate, but his duties, the organization's purpose, and even how to maintain friendships by observing, listening to, and interacting with his fellow members. Xion was like this as well. She writes that the days she met Roxas or Axel are all a blur.
So even though Roxas was born without memories, he is still a superior nobody, and he is still the superior nobody of Sora, even though the two are not identical. But just saying the fact isn't enough. What are the pieces of evidence that support this connection? For one thing, when Naminé begins to reconstruct Sora's memories elsewhere, Roxas begins to have dreams and visions of Sora, even though Naminé is not responsible for Roxas's amnesia at all. After all, Roxas was born before Sora ever stepped foot in Castle Oblivion. Roxas also has his own version of Sora's Keyblade. One might wonder if this is Sora's exact Keyblade itself. But remember that Sora had to fight Xehanort's Heartless and continue fighting in Castle Oblivion with his Keyblade, so Roxas must have his own duplicate. And even though Roxas doesn't look like Sora's identical twin, he still resembles him somewhat. Xemnas says the two look similar on Roxas's 6th day. And much later in the year, in the original DS game, Xion says Roxas looks so much like Sora after just having a vision of him. And this vision is something we'll bring up in our next topic. If Roxas is Sora's nobody, who is Ven?
In our previous season on Kingdom Hearts 2, we discussed that game's secret endings, in which the smaller of the 3 knights is unmasked, revealing Roxas's face. Because one of the other knights, known as the Lingering Will, states the names Aqua and Ven, we assume Ven is the name of this boy. Kingdom Hearts 2 also hints to us that Xehanort and Xigbar somehow knew about the epic battle involving these 3 Keyblade Knights.
When a bunch of warriors wielding key-shaped swords appeared and unleashed a spectacular battle.
It has been far too long, friend.
Now, the question is, do Xemnas and Xigbar know not just about this battle, but about this Ven specifically? Xigbar writes about Roxas in the secret report for day 117. Roxas is maturing at an impressive rate. His face, the way he handles the Keyblade, it's all exactly the same. Roxas isn't the only one who reminds Xigbar of Ven. Xion does as well, particularly during one of her final days when she lashes out at Xigbar. We see from Xigbar's perspective who Xion appears as, a boy identical to Roxas, perhaps Roxas himself, but his clothes are slightly different from Roxas's outfit in Kingdom Hearts 2. Plus, this boy is wearing a pauldron, armor protecting the shoulder.
What a blast from the past! Why is it that you always have to glare at me like that?
People think that because Xigbar saw this boy in Xion, that this must have also been who Xion saw a few weeks prior when she asked Axel.
I saw a boy today who looks just like Roxas. Is he who I think he is?
However, this is a misconception due to the HD movie leaving out minor scenes from the DS game. Originally, Xion and Roxas work together on a mission in Agrabah. When they arrive at the world's keyhole, Xion gets an intense vision of Sora unlocking that keyhole during Kingdom Hearts 1. This same day, Xion writes in her secret report, "I think the boy I saw today is the same Sora from my memories." What's strange is that when Xion asks Axel about Sora and how he looks like Roxas, the camera does pan over to reveal Xigbar eavesdropping. That's why people assume Xion saw the same boy she would later appear as to Xigbar.
It's not even Xigbar alone who seems to know about Roxas's lost past. Xemnas himself seems to as well. In another DS scene left out of the HD movie remake, when Roxas is in a coma around his first month in the organization, Xemnas stands over him and says, "So sleep has taken you yet again." Does this mean Xemnas knows of a previous instance when Roxas was in a comatose state? If Xemnas knows Roxas from before he joined the organization, why would Xemnas see Xion as Sora from their one meeting, and not this then like Xigbar does? Clearly, Xemnas and Xigbar know even more about Roxas than they ever revealed to him. And perhaps in the end, that could have been better for Roxas. Could Roxas during days handle that his origins are even more muddy than he knows? Would he tolerate either revelations that he is Ven or is connected to Ven? He already went through enough emotional toil simply comparing himself to Xion and especially Sora.
In Kingdom Hearts 2, not only does Roxas finally return to Sora, but eventually what could be described as his spirit peacefully accepts that he is Sora's nobody.
You make a good other.
Roxas eventually understands that he is not doomed to reside in Sora's shadow. Hopefully, he would have the peace to understand that the same goes for Ven.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Mel. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about Roxas and why he's so fucking weird.
Roxas, or should we say Ven?
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, which I've been wanting to talk about for a couple weeks now, but I guess now's as good a time as any and not before, but whatever, is all of these different scenes that were not included in the HD movie.
Yeah.
So, there's, like, you might be thinking, like, well, I didn't play the DS. I only watched the HD remix. Like, how screwed am I? You're not that screwed because we really did include, like, all of the major lines for like lore wise. I think like maybe the one other big scene that's not super lore wise but people just reference a lot because it's funny is when Roxas gives Xion his Keyblade. Xion's like, well, what are you gonna fight with? And he's like, I don't know, I'll use this. And he picks up a stick and then Xion goes, Roxas, that's a stick. Like, and then, you know, like that's like the one other thing you fucking missed, but like whatever.
Yeah.
But you and I talked with our friend about the Xion DLC fight. So hopefully if you're playing on your own game, your own PC or your own PS4 or PS5 collection, then you can see the actual fight where Roxas fights Xion. But that was added like 2 years later, you guys. So there are compilations on YouTube that don't have that scene.
Yeah,
Isn't
I meant
that
to check my PC version because when I was watching through this, I was looking at something on YouTube, and it didn't have it because it was posted a long time ago. But yeah, that's worth looking into. I should do that.
Well, let me tell you what else is not in the HD remake, which is crazy. I think maybe this is what I think. I theorize that they left out a lot of fights from the HD remake because fighting choreography might just be a lot to block out and to animate. And maybe they just didn't have the time. Because the other fight that they left out, not even added as DLC, is the day that Roxas leaves the organization, he fights Saix. I think Saix says to him, "We don't accept resignations." And then he whips out the weapon. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It's like, you don't like miss any big plot points by not playing the DS game or, reading the script. It's just like some context. Like I remember, I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago, that it's like, there's some jumps in the cutscene movie that are just like, they don't make a ton of sense and it's just a little bit hard to follow. So what I recommend doing, what I did, is like watching the cutscene movie and then having the DS script or a playthrough of it or something up like at the same time. And so like if something feels jumpy or doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, to, go like find whatever day you're on and then read the whole script for the whole day.
Yeah, especially because something that happens a lot in the DS version is, so there's like a whole lounge area, and you kind of get glimpses of the lounge area in the HD remake cutscene movie, whatever. But in the original DS version, you go in there like every single day to talk to Saix about your mission. And every time you talk to Saix, if he's kind of like involved with something, or if Xion did something dumb and Saix wants to point it out, like you'll get that line of dialogue. But sometimes that adds a little bit more context. So like I think at one point Roxas sees Xion with Riku, and then in the HD remake the next scene is Roxas going up to Xion and being like, "Come home, Xion." But in the DS game, that's like the next day or like a couple days later. And you don't really realize that unless you play the DS game.
Also, it's like, there's a lot of like character building for the other organization members in those DS scenes. And I think that at least the script I was reading included all of those lines. So like, for example, on one of the first days, I think, when you're Roxas going on your missions, if you talk to Larxene, she tells you to bash your head into the glass. She's like, "Stop talking to me. Go slam your head into the window." Like, it's crazy.
Oh my God. She's kind of everything.
She is everything. I love her.
I think the day I grew up was the day I stopped hating mean women in media.
Yes. We support women's wrongs.
Okay, so a couple of other things I wanted to... first of all, a couple other things that were left out of the HD remake is Xemnas standing over Roxas when he's comatose. I think that is in the HD remake, but it cuts off before Xemnas actually says, "So sleep has taken you yet again." And I don't know why they cut out that line on purpose. Or left it out, because it is important.
It is important, yeah.
And it does imply a lot, so, like, whatever. And then in that same scene, Saix is informing Xemnas about the chamber in Castle Oblivion, and that is also trimmed out. And we're going to talk about that a lot more in the next episode, but I wanted to mention it here while it was relevant. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I could have talked about in Xion's episode, but we already had so much to say that, and this episode was already like a bit of like a less meaty episode that I was like, I'll just move it to this one because it's relevant to here as well.
Yeah.
But if you are watching the cutscenes, you're a new Kingdom Hearts fan, you might notice a detail of the Kingdom Key and the crown at the end almost like changing shape. And I'm kicking myself in the foot because I saved pictures of the different screenshots, but I have them on the wrong computer. They're not on this one. And so I can't send them to Hannah to show her, but I can describe it. So Sora's original Keyblade, the Kingdom Key, is blunt. It has like a thick edge where the crown is at the edge. I guess it's like a crown silhouette or like an whatever. The little key shape. But in certain scenes of days where with Roxas and Xion, it's sharp. It's not blunt. And you might be thinking like, is that important? Like, does that mean it's not real or that it's a different Keyblade? But I'm here to tell you, in case let me answer a question nobody asked, is that it's just inconsistent. Because in the original DS game, Xion and Roxas's Keyblade were not sharp. They looked dull, or dull isn't the right word. I guess blunt.
Yeah.
Like Sora's Keyblade in the DS scenes. And if you watch the day's cutscenes, you can tell which cutscenes were taken directly from the DS game. Because even though the DS game is low poly, every once in a while you get to see a pre-rendered cutscene that has like your normal Kingdom Hearts graphics.
Right.
And in all of those in the HD remake, Roxas and Xion's Keyblade is blunt. And then in the new scenes that they had to create from the ground up, the Keyblade is sharp. And what's funny is that in the DLC of Roxas fighting Xion, that scene that was added 2 years later, Roxas's Keyblade is blunt again. So I think maybe like a new staff member created that cutscene and didn't realize like that rule that they had made where Roxas and Xion get a sharp Keyblade instead of a blunt one. To me, it just seems to be not really all that consistent, and therefore it's not something you really need to like pay attention to. It's just like a detail of the Kingdom Key. Is it Sora's or is it not Sora's? And even sometimes then it's just not consistent. So anyway.
Right. Is that something people discuss a lot?
I've seen it discussed a lot. You might be able to see, if you like go on Google Images, you might be able to see screenshots where people circle it in red and point an arrow and type in WTF. You know what I mean?
Yeah. YouTube thumbnails. Got it.
Yes. So I'm just covering my basis that I've seen in my many years as a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Gotcha.
Okay. But anyway, let's move on from the logistics of cutscenes, and I don't even know if logistics is the right word.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the actual good shit, okay? So in this presentation, we talk about how when Roxas didn't have his memories, he acted like a zombie. And it's important to clarify that in real life, when someone has amnesia, their motor skills and their ability to use language is not affected by amnesia. At least not in most cases, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why in every other piece of media, people go, who am I? How did I get here? Who are you? You know?
Yeah.
But in Kingdom Hearts, it seems like if someone doesn't have any memories, they like can't do anything. Yeah. And it's only by like prolonging in life, by existing in life, that they slowly accumulate more memories, that they're kind of able to gain back being able to think, being able to talk and to move around. And
that's just so like weird. Yeah, to me, I'm like this is video game logic, so I shouldn't be thinking about it this much. But like, yeah, like the parts of your brain that affect your memory are different than like are in different parts of your brain as like your motor skills and your, you know, everyday function and stuff like that. So I'm just like, the human Kingdom Hearts brains are not the same as our regular everyday human brains. How do their brains work? Do they even like have brains?
That's a game theory, like a MatPat game theory sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, if it's like, because they're made up of like heart and body and mind or whatever. That's what Xehanort was talking about in his reports. Are those the three major? Diz. Yeah.
I would say, usually I wouldn't care. I would let this slide, but because we're a lore, and this will eventually be important, I will clarify. It's the heart, body, and soul.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it's like those are the three major organs of a Kingdom Hearts human.
Yeah. That's so funny. I just stopped to correct you, and I still didn't even see the joke coming. That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, that, and like to bridge to that, I was thinking about it, like what could be the cause of Roxas's amnesia, and like my immediate thought is that could be a side effect of him existing at the same time as Sora, with like him having created, or Kairi having created a new body for Sora, because that's not normal for nobody's, right, to exist at the same time as there's somebody. So it's like, who do the memories go to the real person or to the nobody?
Especially because in Kingdom Hearts 2, Diz talked about how because Kairi has a pure heart and she couldn't create a heartless, she also couldn't technically create a nobody, especially because her body was still in the realm of light in Kingdom Hearts 1, where Riku had to rescue her body, right? So if that's her body, then what the hell is Naminé? Diz says Naminé was made from Sora. So if so many assets of Sora were built to create Naminé, then yeah, I think you're right. I think it does make sense that Roxas isn't as complete of a nobody as your typical nobody.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because I had never, like, whenever you first brought that up, I had never considered it before. It's like, oh yeah, there's two bodies. Like, there's the first Sora body and the second Sora body. So that's just, yeah, something that stuck with me. It's an interesting thought. So another thing I wanted to clarify quickly, or not quickly, before I guess we talk about Ven, you know, Xemnas has that line of, so sleep has taken you yet again, even though this is the first time we're seeing Roxas sleep. I wanted to clarify that this is before all of the Castle Oblivion stuff, right? Because like Sora goes to sleep in the pod. He take a big nap in the pod. So like that hasn't happened yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
I believe, based off of me trying to do my own timeline for our first episode this season, I think the timeline is Sora goes through Castle Oblivion, and then Naminé sends him to sleep. And it seemed to me, maybe this is just my own interpretation, maybe I misread what what the stars are saying. Maybe I misinterpreted what... Okay, so when Roxas falls asleep, when he goes into comatose, you see the lotus egg thing closing in on Sora, and it shows Naminé smiling. So it seems to me that... Oh, you know what? Okay, yes. I think that Roxas fainted because Sora fell asleep. Because when Saix and Xemnas are talking over comatose Roxas, I can't remember if this is in the HD remake, but it's certainly in the DS, where Saix says, oh, so Naminé's work on Sora has begun, or Naminé has begun her work, or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So But
so that still makes that line weird.
yeah, that still
Yeah.
doesn't explain that line.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fucking weird.
That's a good clarification to have.
I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question.
Just trying to cover all of our bases. And then, again, speaking of Xemnas, I just like, I think of that cutscene of him getting Roxas for the first time. And I want, like, Xemnas knows what Sora looks like, right? Like, he's seen him.
Yeah,
right?
they saw each other at Hollow Bastion in the first Kingdom Hearts game. So, and
Right.
you know,
Okay. Yeah.
Xemnas was hooded, but Sora wasn't.
Right. So, like, Xemnas, I guess, just did not give a fuck when Roxas appeared and didn't look like Sora. Looked
Yeah.
like a blonde little boy instead.
Yeah.
Didn't even blink about it.
If anything, like, when Xemnas first approaches Roxas at Twilight Town, Xemnas has, like, a grin. He seems really excited that he has this asset, this new tool for him to use.
Yeah.
You know, he's smiling when he says, the new you. He smiles when he's like, this is your new, I can give you purpose. And then creates the letter Sora and adds the letter X or whatever. You know, he's smiling that whole time. He doesn't seem confused. He seems intrigued or like, yes, this is all going to my plan, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. And that kind of brings me to my next point. If we can move on, are you okay with that?
Uh-huh.
So we talk a lot in this presentation about how Xemnas and Xigbar seem to know some previous version of Roxas, named Ven, according to that night. Because it's important to clarify that in Days, Xemnas and Xigbar never say the word Ven.
Yeah.
The word Ven isn't in Days at all. I'm only trying to connect these dots from what the Lingering Will says. So for all we fucking know, Ven is some other fucko. Maybe this isn't even Ven.
Yeah.
But if he's in the secret ending with the Lingering Will, then I feel like that's like a safe guess.
Yeah. There's nowhere else to attribute that to.
Yeah, unless this boy's named Aqua, you know, and it's reversed.
Which it could be.
Aqua,
but, you
Aqua
know,
has
there's
blue
a girl
vibes,
with
so I
blue
assume.
hair, you know.
That would be so fucking funny. Okay, anyway. But what I thought of when writing this script, and then I was like, no, I'll put it in the discussion, was if they see Sora's nobody, and he doesn't look like Sora. He looks like some boy that they may have known, especially Xemnas, who says, so sleep has taken you yet again. What's weird is that, yes, Xemnas seems excited to recruit Roxas at that point, but then we have talked about in Shion's episode how when Shion was replicating Sora more, and taking away from Roxas and kind of sucking Roxas's power, they ditch Roxas. They like, okay, well, we don't need the boy anymore. We have the puppet who's even stronger. So you would think that they would be intrigued about the fact that this Roxas looks like Ven or is Ven reincarnated or something. But they seem to not fucking care anymore because of Shion. So it's weird. We don't know what their relationship is. We don't know. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I guess like they are probably one-track minded with their goal, and they're going to use like the strongest tool to accomplish their goal. I would assume, and leave all mystery to another time or another person or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It is very weird. I think it's odd. Even like, I don't want to say too much, but like even knowing what I know about the future of the series, it is odd to me that they don't care.
Yeah.
Or they seem not to care.
I agree. Okay, so the thing I wanted... So usually when me and Hannah write our discussion points, we write, like, Mel says this, or Hannah dash this, right? Because, like, we're writing, okay, this is my note, so I'll say this. But every once in a while, I have to do, like, a weird little, like, a separate thing. So this is a little separate area where I have points to be made for Roxas and Ven being the same person, or Roxas and Ven being separate people. Because, in my opinion, there's lines and just different little things here and there that imply either or. Yeah. And that's why this weird little situation with Roxas is so weird and confusing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So for my first note of Roxas and Ven being the same person, I wrote down the line of Xemnas saying, "So sleep has taken you yet again." If they were different people, he wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because this is Roxas's first time falling asleep. But Xemnas saying it makes it sound like Roxas is some reincarnation or like some leftover life form of Ven. And that's just weird. You know? I don't know.
Something that has fallen asleep before in some point that we haven't seen, we don't know of.
Yeah.
And then the point that I wrote down for this one, the incredibly astute observation of them being the same person, is that they look the same. They have the same face.
What kills me is that I didn't write that down.
Yeah.
And they really do. Because this is also what's weird, is that we talk about how there are a few times in the game with Xemnas and Xion where they say, "Roxas, you look like Sora." And so it must be like this is like so nerdy, but like if you look at the models of Roxas and Sora, their face models, the polygons that make up their face are the same.
Yeah.
They just have different hairstyles. Mm-hmm. And so, and maybe different skin tones. Sora's weird because sometimes Sora's skin tone just looks so dark, you know, in like his complexion. So I can't really tell with Sora sometimes, but I think it also depends on how dark his hair is. Like in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora's hair is so dark that it makes his skin look lighter. Mm-hmm. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, it's a little bit more blonde, so it looks darker in comparison. So I don't know. But my point is, if Roxas resembles Sora, but is also the fucking spitting image of this other guy.
Yeah, that just makes things so much more complicated because he looks the exact same as this other person, but then everyone's like, "Oh my god, you look just like Sora. You look like Sora." And it's like, well, what's going on here?
Yes. Okay, and moving on to the points for Roxas and Ven being separate people. This is something that I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, we did learn that the secret reports are in the Days collection. You can select it in your game itself, which I'm really relieved about. You don't have to risk spoiling yourself looking it up online. But in Xigbar's secret report for day 117... the one where he talks about, you know, Roxas is maturing at an impressive rate. His face, the way he handles the Keyblade, it's all exactly the same. This report is titled Him and Roxas.
Yeah.
Which really implies that they are two different people. And then in the other one I wanted to write, so going back to Kingdom Hearts 2's secret endings, I thought that the character who ended up being Ven or has Roxas's face, that boy, at first I thought that in the shorter version of the secret ending, he holds his own Keyblade normally, but he doesn't. In both versions of this secret ending, this knight holds his Keyblade backwards in like a reverse grip. And that is something
so
that I
cool,
think,
by the way.
I know,
I think that's so
badass. It's
yeah.
kind of edgy. But that's what's so weird about this secret report is that Xemnas says the way he handles the Keyblade.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't really feel like that's a point for them being separate people, but maybe almost like an inconsistency.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too. Like the fact that this Ven obviously holds the Keyblade a very clearly different way than everyone else that we have seen handle a Keyblade, and then Xigbar is like, it's all exactly the same the way he handles the Keyblade, and it's like, are we sure? Yeah. Are we sure? Did we pay attention?
Are you misremembering? Which, like, I'm trying to remember when Sora is using the drive forms and he's able to use multiple Keyblades. I feel like even in those cases, he, like, is, like, being magical where the Keyblades aren't even in his hand. He's just, like, telepathically throwing them around.
Yeah.
So you're right. I don't think we've ever seen someone hold a Keyblade in... Well, I'm trying... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sora does hold the reverse Keyblade in a drive form.
I don't think so. In Valor form, he just has 2 Keyblades. And he just kind of, like, spins them. He's never still. He spins them around a lot. And I'm trying to remember with, like, he has, like, a certain pose that he does in Valor form where, like, one's on his shoulder and, like, one is on his back or something like that. And then Wisdom form is the one where he's shooting the little bullets.
I think what I'm thinking of is this image. The blue one. Hold on. I think just because it kind of looks like this in this picture, though, I don't know if he's actually doing it.
Okay. Yeah, and in Master form and Final form, he, I think they levitate and spin around.
Which is fucking cool, by the way.
Yeah, that is really cool. But yeah, you're kind of right with this.
So we're looking at a picture, a stock, like, render of Sora holding his Keyblade key in Wisdom form, ? Blue.
Yeah.
Blue Wisdom.
Wisdom.
And it kind of does look like Sora has a reverse grip. So maybe it's not completely unique to this one character. But,
let me see if our friend Roxas has a breakdown on this.
Bio!
Yeah, he does. Shout out Roxas. Okay. So he, like, wow, that's cool. When he jumps, he, like, lets go of it. Oh, okay. So he kind of flips it back and forth between the way he's holding it in that photo that you sent and regular. He's kind of always moving it. So it's not really like a stance. It's like he's just fidgeting with it.
It's just his little fidget toy. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right. He's just kind of spinning it.
Yeah. And then might as well look at the other ones while we're here.
So true.
I also, while we're shouting out people, I hope this person is okay with me doing this. We got an email from someone that signed off their email by the name of Chip, who gave us an extended movie that they made, I guess, of 358 over 2 days. What did they say? They said, extended movie I made a few years ago that includes every cutscene from the movie, game, and pieces of gameplay throughout. So if you want to check that out, the channel is Chip Cooper. It's called Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days extended movie. It's 8 hours and 20 minutes. So they sent that to us. Thank you, Chip. That's Chip. Amazing. I should have shouted that out earlier whenever we were talking about the cutscenes, but I just remembered.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. Shout out to Chip. Shout out to Bio. Let's look at the Valor
people
one.
do that with us a lot. They're like, you might find this useful. Like, here, check this out. So
yeah, we appreciate every time anyone sends us resources because we've gotten emails like that for a couple different things. Let's see what Valor form looks like. In Valor form, yeah, I think he just holds them both normally. I don't think he has a reverse grip on either of those. From what I can see. Yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling through. Yeah, he holds them both. He holds one behind his back and one like his right hand, he holds it over his shoulder behind his back, and then his left hand, he like holds his arm across his stomach, and then it kind of goes behind him, I guess. It's like just being held backwards. It looks cool. And then let's look at master form. So no reverse hold yet. And I think with
dumbass. I didn't realize that these videos are only one dry form each video. So I'm scrolling through this whole video and I'm like, I'm only seeing wisdom. Where is Hannah seeing all these other forms?
I'm typing furiously. And then master form, he holds one normally and then he spins the other one in front of him. But it looks like he does the same thing as he did with, oh no, never mind. He kind of like spins it around. He does a whole 360 with it. The one that he holds. So it doesn't like flip back and forth like the wisdom one. And then final, I think they all just float around him. Yeah. So that was a longer deep dive than we needed to take on how Sora holds these Keyblades. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't hold any backwards.
Yeah, it's just this weird fucking little boy who, I don't know. It's not even that he's like left-handed or something. Is he left-handed? I'm trying to remember. Maybe he is left-handed.
I don't know.
I feel like when the boy's trying to attack the scary, creepy old man, he uses his left arm, right? Not that any of this fucking matters. Like, maybe the one defining factor could be if Roxas seems to be right-handed, but maybe Ven is left or something.
Maybe.
But
no, he is right-handed.
Okay,
from screenshots I am looking at, he is right-handed.
Well, shit, then I don't know what the hell's going on.
Who fucking knows? Not us.
Not us. We do, but not us. We do know. We know everything, but we don't know.
Yeah. So, weird. Ven holds the Keyblade weird, and we don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Is the conclusion there.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny, because at one point when Xion is absorbing Roxas's power, she starts fighting like Roxas and using his moves. And you'd think that if Roxas is like Ven, or is the reincarnation of Ven, or is just Ven not dead or something, that Xion, like, maybe the game would try to hint us that by Xion fighting with a reverse grip, but she certainly never does.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because the whole reason why they put Xion with Roxas is to absorb Sora. They don't really seem to give a fuck about this other boy if he is a separate entity.
Yeah.
Which, like, maybe that alone tells us a lot. Mm-hmm. If Roxas and Xigbar are willing to ditch... If Xemnas and Xigbar are willing to ditch Roxas, maybe they just don't give a fuck about this previous boy. Maybe he's not powerful. Because with Sora, in Chain of Memories, they refer to him as the hero of light. Mm-hmm. And I even think in Days' Secret Reports, they refer to him as the hero of light. Mm-hmm. So maybe Sora just has powers and abilities that this boy Ven doesn't have. So even if they recognize Ven in Roxas, they're like, well, he's not really the super powerful boy. Like, who cares about him? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, very weird.
So we did get emails, but a lot of them were still about Xion, which is so funny. Because you and me, Hannah, we already talked about how that episode was, like, long.
It was a long episode.
We were able to say everything we wanted to say. We couldn't answer all the questions about Xion back then. And even after that episode came out, we still got more emails about Xion.
Yeah.
And it's funny. She's just a good character. She's a good character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that. I don't want you to think, if you're listening to this and you're new to Kingdom Hearts, I don't want you to think that there's so much to Xion that we didn't cover because we covered everything. She's just one of those characters that you can just talk about forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to worry that you're like missing a big chunk. People just really like her. She's just a great character. Yeah. But we also got some questions that were a little bit spoilery, so unfortunately we won't really be discussing anybody's questions today. I hope that's all right. Can I just say the next episode?
Yeah, so Mel, what is our next episode going to be about? What should you send questions about for next week?
So next week, and Hannah recommended to me that I be a little bit more specific, which I do think she's right. I think I am unintentionally a little bit too vague about what the next week's episode is going to be. So let me be more specific this time. So this next episode is going to be about Axel and Saix, because even though on the surface those two characters throughout days just seem to be bickering, like, you shut up, no you shut up, or she owns a puppet, she's not a puppet, she's real, right? Or I don't like you, I don't like you either, right? That seems to just be like the surface. But we're going to talk about a lot of their longer conversations where they talk about some pretty important stuff. Like they talk about the chamber of Castle Oblivion, and they talk about Xemnas' secret that Xigbar brought up in Kingdom Hearts 2. So those are the three main things we're going to be talking about next episode. Axel and Saix, the chamber, and Xemnas' secret agenda. So.
Hell yeah.
If you have...
And that'll be our season finale, right?
Yes, it will be. That will be the season finale. So if you have questions about any of that, you can send it in at sheddingstarlight@gmail.com. And I forgot where we go from here.
That's it. If you liked this episode, if you're liking this season, subscribe on YouTube, like the video, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and give us a nice little 5-star review if you're so inclined. And
let me say this. So people, as I said, people sent us more emails about Xion after the episode about Xion went up. And we do our best to kind of not return back to what we previously talked about, but to keep moving forward, because unless it's something really important, if for some reason we forgot, which I don't think has ever happened, but like whatever. My point is we keep moving forward with our episodes, and we can't return to previous episodes for email questions. So instead of emailing us things, if you have other questions about Roxas, instead of emailing us, go ahead and comment on our YouTube channel, on the YouTube videos, because we would love to respond and talk about them there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think you have a much higher chance of getting a response from us that way if it's about a previous episode.
And that's also like an open forum where other people can see your question, reply as well. Yeah. As long as you're being nice. If you're being mean, we're going to remove your comment. Or if you're being spoilery, we're going to remove your comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to point that out and say that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, I think that's it for us today. Right, Mel?
Yeah. I'm really excited, Hannah. Things are racking up. Things are racking. After this season finale, we're going to be getting out the big guns.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so excited.
This was a short season, but baby, it's the appetizer.
Yeah, it's the appetizer. Ooh, I'm so excited. Okay, well, everyone, thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the Starlight.